Hi everybody!
Hello, hi.
We are back again, and for this video we want to talk about a film that we have loved since
With
childhood.
children. Yeah,
And it means a great deal to us,
it
and
does. Yeah.
we just felt like we just wanted to talk about it, and we've
Yeah.
just sat and watched half of it so far, just now. But it's a long film, so we wanted to
It's a
stop and
very
do this
long
video.
film.
And
Yeah.
that film is Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Absolutely fabulous.
I mean,
Gone with
the backstory in our lives is that when we would go and visit our grandparents,
Mhm.
our grandmother would let us watch Gone with the Wind, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
And that was it.
Was that it?
Yeah, we weren't allowed to watch any other videos.
Oh, that's right, because her and Grandad had quite an adult collection.
Yes.
And those were kind of the only real kid-friendly videos.
And it's
she
a thing
had.
that we would go to sleep when we were used to going to sleep, but they would be up until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So then by the time they woke up, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. Of course, we'd been up for hours. So we were told, you can go into the living room, you can watch these 2 videos,
And
but
that
that's
was
it.
And that's what we did. We were very good girls.
And we were very good, but it was quite funny because it would be like every morning we'd get through the whole of 4 hours of Gone with the Wind before they would wake up.
Do you remember when we used to like reenact bits of
Oh,
it?
God.
That's my
lovely, embarrassing moment is there.
It was so
it's
fun.
just because we knew the film so much. Just like now, we've sat for 2 hours and we've quoted nearly the entire film because we've watched it so many times.
It's such a...
And so it means a lot to us. So
It does.
we wanted to have a talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it is the definition of the problematic fave because...
Yeah.
It is problematic as fuck. We know this.
Yeah, both of us haven't read the book.
I've never read the book.
No.
I'm going to, though.
Yeah, it's in my list. It's in my jar for reading and such. So I really want to. I don't know how the book compares to the film. I know certain things are in the book that are not in the film.
Mm-hmm.
That I know about, but I don't know how certain characters are depicted in the book compared to the film.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But there's something truly magical about the film.
It gets a lot wrong, but it gets a lot right too.
Yeah.
I mean, the things, I'm going to list the things I love, and then I don't know, all the things we love, and then we'll talk about the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, the things I love: cinematography.
Yeah.
Costume design.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
Vivian fucking Lee.
Yes.
Like, the actors in it, to be fair.
If you're doing,
go
Vivian,
on.
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable. The cast are great.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great. And Olivia de Havilland is the only one left alive.
Yeah, 101.
101 years old.
She's even survived all of the children that are in.
Everyone, I think.
Everyone. She's still around.
It is a classic for a reason. like it's got so much wrong with it, and I don't want to sort of gloss over that at all.
It was one of those situations where it was a massive problem for the makers. People, even though because it had a buzz because we were saying it was in a Depression era. I was just reading out today an article.
Book, wasn't it?
It was a massive hit book, even in Depression era. It was going to do well at the box office, but I don't necessarily think they anticipated, my God, we're going to get 10 Oscars in this shamble of a production. Everything possible is going wrong, and every day a new director turns up.
But then sometimes that happens on films like Jaws. Jaws was a mess. Nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's a great film.
Yeah.
And, Gone with the Wind is overly long. It is clunky. There are sections of it that you could quite easily get rid of.
But then, if you had so many directors who did so many different segments, and it's just
But then again, there is magic in it.
Mm-hmm.
It might be tainted magic, but it is magic.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy watching it.
Me too.
I really do. And Scarlett O'Hara is just iconic in
I
her
think,
single-minded selfishness.
yeah, I
Isn't
mean,
she?
I always love Scarlett. Even though sometimes I think, God, she's been such a bitch, and she drives me nuts. I really like her.
And my favourite thing about her is that, like we just watched her when she helps Melly give birth and get back to Tara.
Yeah.
That basically, when the chips are down, she pulls up her britches, she gets on with it, and she does what's necessary to survive.
Yeah.
And she really does do it.
Yeah.
And I do admire that about her character.
Yeah, me too.
And even later on, when she's trying to get the money to rebuild Tara and make sure they all survive, she kills the Yankee.
Well,
she marries Frank Kennedy.
She
for money.
She steals from the Yankees.
Yeah, she does everything.
She said the big speech in the middle of the film, and she ends it saying, "If I have to lie, cheat, steal, or kill, as God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again." And she does all of those things.
She does. Yeah.
She makes a vow and she sticks to it.
She does, but she's just extraordinary, and Rhett Butler is her equal in all ways.
I love Rhett. Like, the moment that you meet him, I mean, I was saying while we were watching it as well, that it's very easy because of the age that Vivien Leigh was when she made this film. It's very easy to think throughout the course of the film that she is this adult. When in reality, she begins the film, she's 16. By the end of the film, she's 32.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of sections, like at the very beginning when she's having fights with her sister, and stuff like that. It's like, she's 16. But you like, oh, for crying out loud, act like a grown-up, that she's 16.
She's a child.
And she, like, flings herself at Ashley and goes, "Oh, Ashley, I love you.
I love you. I love you."
And it's like, and marrying Melly's sister to make him jealous, and it's like, you're such a child. So in some regards, you do get the age thing, but then you forget very quickly how old she is, because there are lot crammed in, and a lot of events happen over either a short amount of time or a lot of years spread out, in large amount. It's really, it's hard to know exactly which year you're in unless you know exactly American history.
Yeah. And the overall production of it is so extraordinary.
Yeah, it's so lavish.
The war, it's a film that treats war with a real sense of reality.
Yeah.
Actually, that this culture, this Southern Confederate culture, is swept away, but that's a good thing. These people are the Confederacy. They are the slave owners. They are the people who live in this delicate world, which is all based in blood and human sales.
Yeah, it's really, being from the UK and not having that knowledge of certain areas of America and everything, and how the southern and northern borders, at that time, how it would have felt to be in that environment. It's quite difficult to say good and bad things about that part, because we don't know. We don't know that. But then at the same time, it is that thing of what they're actually fighting about. It's a massive deal.
It is a massive deal.
Yeah.
Which is why the characterization of the black people in it is so poor, actually. Because I would say, Mammy aside, the rest of the black people in it who play the servants, they are all very good at their job, but they all play the same person. There's no person. They have no personality other than being the servant of the white person.
They're either in at home being the the slave who is
terribly grateful
for everything and
Yeah.
very happy and comfortable where they are. Or when you get like into Atlanta and everything, you see like various like characters like dancing for money on the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or when later on after the war is over, you have a black man who's one of the carpetbaggers.
Yes, he is. Which is almost a double slap in the face for the Confederate people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really interesting moment when he's going along in the buggy with oh god, what's that character? He's the one with the mustache, you know, at the beginning.
He's the overseer.
Yeah. And he
Mr. Wilkerson,
and he whips that man who's saying, "Won't you give a dying man a few coins?"
That's it.
And he whips that.
But that was so interesting how that's set up earlier in the film.
And it's the black carpetbagger who laughs and says they're standing there acting like they won the war.
Yeah.
And that line I think is really powerful. The fact that he says it.
Yeah.
That makes.
But I mean, it's funny even from what I've read, the difference in the attitude between Hattie McDaniel and Butterfly McQueen.
Yeah.
Butterfly McQueen hated the role of Prissy.
Yeah, she played Prissy, the younger servant.
Because she, and I absolutely agree with her, said that this role does nothing for her people.
Yeah.
It portrays a very one-dimensional character, but at the end of the day, she was an actress who needed to eat.
Yeah.
So who needed money, and so she did the job. But Hattie McDaniel was asked, well, "How do you feel?" And she said, "At the end of the day, I'd rather play a maid than be one."
Yeah.
And I understand that, but Hattie McDaniel's performance is amazing.
Yeah.
It is exemplary. The one scene of her in Gone with the Wind I absolutely love, and I've watched it over and over and over again, is the scene when Mellie visits after Blue's death, Bonnie's death.
Well, she's Bonnie Blue.
Bonnie
Blue,
Blue,
they call her Blue from time to time,
and she's walking up the stairs, and Mammy tells her their argument, and she's crying her eyes out. And she's just so wonderful in that sequence because she's genuinely gutted at this little girl's death. And just
what's happening between Rhett and Scarlett.
Yeah, and I love her relationship with Rhett, how he really, really respects Mammy.
Rhett respects every woman.
Including Belle Watling, the prostitute.
Yeah, but he has this strange respect for Scarlett. And when I say a strange respect, it's that thing of he feels, I think it's that thing that they're very level.
Yes, it's two alpha tigers in a cage, going for each other.
Yeah.
They're circling each other.
Not that I'm saying that he feels that he's more dominant than the other women in his life, because that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that one of them's got more of a sharper tongue, and that attracts him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they are so like each other, it's gonna cause an explosion.
But then you and I were talking about how much he loves and respects Mellie.
Oh, and I adore his relationship.
Their relationship is lovely.
When he discovers that she's pregnant again, and he knows that she can't have children, and it will kill her, and he begs her. And he says, "Please, Mellie, I hate to say this, but don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go through it. And don't put yourself in danger." And Mellie's response is something like, "Children are the most precious gifts in the world, and when you're given that, danger is not really an issue to you."
No,
or something.
She says something like, "Children are life renewing itself." Something like that. And it is a beautiful, beautiful relationship. But like we said, if he had married a woman like Mellie, he would have got bored.
Yeah, he would have gone to
That's the tragedy of it, is that...
And don't you love... I love the sequence where he's had an argument with Scarlett and he goes to Belle. And he's like, that's it, it's over. And she said, oh, don't be stupid, you're crazy about her. That's why you're here. And she kind of makes him realise, and then he goes, oh, thanks, Belle, and leaves.
I love
And
that
and
he touches her
camera,
earring.
yeah, he just strokes her earring and goes, oh, thanks, love. And the camera just stays on her, and it goes close in, and she sees she's crying.
Because she loves him.
She loves
She's
it.
in love with him.
And he can't see it.
No, but I think part of that as well is that she knows she's not good enough for him.
Yeah.
There's a part of her that loves him.
Yeah.
And obviously they've had fun together on more than one occasion. But no, she's not good enough for him.
You can tell because of their friendship and everything. Like, she's got a son. He's away at school because she can't be around his mum and everything. But I always get the feeling that Rhett helped with tuition to get him into a good school.
And
even though she has the money from her own, he wants to help her.
Mellie's relationship with Belle is beautiful as well. Because Mellie treats Belle with respect. She's one of the few people in the film that treats her with respect.
In return, when Ashley is shot, Belle takes him in, looks after her as much as she can, and gives them the alibi they need to avoid getting hung.
That is a great sequence.
Yeah.
The women all sat around that light,
reading
David Copperfield and sewing and knowing they're in trouble.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that we can do about it.
They're just waiting for the police to, the guards and everything to turn up. Oh, that's it, yeah, because they're stationed outside. They're waiting for Ashley to come home. So they've got guards waiting outside their front door. They can't leave. They can't go get a message to them.
Let's talk about Ashley. So why does Scarlett love Ashley? Because I'll be damned if I know.
Because he was her first love.
I know, but he's such an idiot. He's so
I don't think he's an idiot.
Leslie Howard was too old.
Yeah. Oh yes, totally.
Leslie Howard must have been in his 40s.
Yeah.
He must have been.
I don't think Ashley is an idiot. I think it was just that thing that their families knew each other. So he did the good thing as, a person spending time with them. And they just got along, and he laughed at her jokes and stuff like that.
She just had a crush on him.
And she had a crush on him, and then suddenly he's declaring love to prevent him from getting married. And it's like, no, sweetheart, it was her crush, not his. But the moment when Scarlett goes to Ashley and they kiss, I find really interesting because, yes, on 2 other occasions earlier in the film, they kiss, but both of them, she flings herself at him. He doesn't kiss her, and then that one he does.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you do love me. He's going, no, I don't love you. Then why the hell did you kiss her? It's...
I love it when he, earlier in the film, when he talks about marrying Mellie, and he says that she understands me because they're cousins. They're first cousins, but let's...
Yeah, but it's a different time in a different...
They're first cousins. They're both from the same roots. They both know each other inside and out. And Mellie adores him. And we were talking earlier, weren't we, about does Mellie know about Ashley and Scarlett? And I think it's a more interesting interpretation to say yes, she does, and she chooses not to see it.
Yeah, I described it. The only way I could think of describing it is like currently there's Poldark, because guys, you would have seen our videos that we love, which we're going to do a video about later.
Yeah, we will.
That you have Ross and Elizabeth. Elizabeth was his first love. She will always be his first love, no matter what happens. She will be there in his mind or somewhere in a bit of his heart. But Demelza is his real love.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what the
first love lingers, but the real love dominates.
Yeah,
and that's how I think about this situation. That Mellie, she's not stupid.
No,
but she recognises, okay, it was a crush thing.
Yeah.
But that's not going to define my marriage. I'm going to define,
Yeah.
what
And there's a
we go
moment
through.
where Rhett almost tells her, and she says, "You should know better than to listen to gossip, Captain Butler."
Yeah.
And I do interpret that as, I know that,
Yeah.
but he's my husband.
Yeah. And I adore Melly for her grace.
She's definitely a kill 'em with kindness sort of person.
There's an amazing moment where Ashley and Scarlett, is Ashley's birthday, surprise birthday party, which Ashley knows everything about.
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlett's going to pick him up.
Having been forced to go.
Having been no. At that point, it's earlier. And she goes to pick him up, and they just have this kind of nice casual conversation, and everything's fine. There's no sexual tension between them, like there had been in earlier scenes and everything, and they hug each other. And right at that moment, Ashley's sister India sees them with a neighbour friend whose name is completely fallen out of my head and I can't think of her name is. No, it's the doctor's wife.
Mrs. Mead.
Mrs. Mead. And then Mrs. Mead and India rush off and they're like, oh, and they're like, oh my God. And that's when Scarlett refuses to go and Rhett forces her to.
Yeah, and then abandons her at the party.
And abandons her at the party, and she's wearing a stunning, lavish dress while everyone is...
Costume design in this film.
Yeah, while everyone, to show off her wealth, while everyone's in very, kind of casual yet post-war, not the refined look that you have at the beginning of the film before the war.
Yeah.
And everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody stops because they're singing happy birthday to him, or he's a jolly good fella. And everybody stops mid-song when they see her. And Melly goes over, kisses her and thanks her for coming. And she says, Scarlett, you must help introduce my guests. And she takes her around the room and introduces her to everyone. And it's like, good play. Good play, because she could have gone off on her.
Kill her with kindness.
She's not going to do that.
Nope.
She's not that type of person.
No.
And I adore Millie for that.
Yeah.
I think she's wonderful.
She's
quite polar.
She's an idealised idea of womanhood. If Scarlett is her total opposite.
Yeah, I was just about to say she's the total.
She is. She's the angel.
She's the polar opposite. But at the same time, they share same qualities.
I mean, at the end of the day, Melly is also the same person who was going to get a sword to kill the Confederate soldier before Scarlett killed him.
I was just about to say, when Scarlett kills him,
she cleans up the blood.
She cleans up the blood, and she says, because Scarlett's going to go drag him out and everything, she says, Scarlett, would it be wrong if we go through his knapsack? And Scarlett turns to her and goes, oh, I'm quite ashamed. I didn't even think of that myself.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Because the gun goes off.
Yeah.
And the family come back in and she says, oh, don't worry. Scarlett was cleaning the gun and it went off. It's fine.
Nearly scared her half to death.
Yeah.
She's really...
And she goes, Melly, what a cool line.
But they are the only two who know about that man.
Yeah.
Who know that he's buried in the garden.
Yeah.
And they never say a word.
And it's I love this kind of sisterhood that springs up between them, so that when Melly dies at the end of the film,
it's really tragic.
Scarlett is genuinely mourning her. Yeah. Even though at the beginning of the film she goes, that Minnie, I hate her.
But it's so interesting because when Millie dies, that is the moment that Ashley is broken, and she could so easily become the girl that she was at the beginning and fling herself at him. And she realises,
I've been in love with her imagination.
Yeah. That's not me.
And then it's
too late.
Rhett,
and it's too late. And Clark Gable utters the line that has gone down in cinematic history.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Quite a controversy to swear
at
that time. But,
it is honestly, I adore this film. I think it's just, for all its faults, and it has a lot of faults. I mean, even the prologue, I was reading it, and it's like something out of
I don't know if, because we've not read the book, I don't know if it's direct from the book or...
It's deeply racist. The prologue at the beginning is awful.
I wonder, actually, I've got the book here because we were just flicking through it.
Yeah.
Just see if it's at the beginning. But there are, the very, we love the bit that we talk about our favourite shots and everything.
Yeah.
And the shot that just, as soon as I think of Gone with the Wind, I think about it, is the shot is your favourite as well.
My favourite is the one where Scarlett goes to find Dr. Mead because Mellie is giving birth, and she's going through all the soldiers, and the camera kind of pans round and pans out, and you see the hundreds and hundreds of men thousands of men probably, lying on the railroad tracks. And then there's the torn Confederate flag.
Yeah.
And
you lose Scarlett. You can't see her anymore because you just... Unless you, completely follow her and just focus on her, you lose her.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And there's some amazing lines in it as well. What was it that Rhett says about... something about all the men that die... And you're seeing the price of the future.
Yeah.
The hope, the dreams of the future, or something.
He said, the South is falling to its knees.
Yeah, and it will never rise again.
Rise again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And there are things like, when they go to see if Ashley has been killed.
Yeah.
And there's all those people waiting for the newspaper, and it just sort of goes down all those names: killed in action, killed in action, killed in action.
That sequence, you can tell there's the directors, all 5 of them, were real artists.
Yeah, they were.
And in that sequence, that's got one of my favourite sequences in it, where it goes down, they're killed, and then you see a woman in black crying her eyes out, and she walks up to the leader of the band, who's an old man as well, and you can see he's getting upset, and he just kind of nods, and he's like, deep breath, and he turns around and he starts conducting, and then the camera follows to a boy at the front. He's got the pipe, the penny whistle, and he's crying. You realise they've lost their boy, and that's his brother.
That's his older brother, probably. Yeah.
And in that same sequence, Dr. Mead, they realise Dr. Mead's eldest son has died, and the youngest stands up and goes, "I'm going to go fight," and Millie says, "Hush your mouth, sit down. Your family have already lost one son. Why are you going to risk to have them lose another?"
Yeah.
I've never heard anything so stupid in all my life. She's
really... She just tells him to shut up.
That prologue isn't in the book.
No, I didn't think
But I love the first line is a line of describing Scarlett. It's, Scarlett O'Hara was not beautiful, but men seldom realised it when were caught on by her charm.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely a woman that uses her feminine wiles.
Yeah,
she is, but she does it always. At first, she does it for her own reasons, and then she does it for the greater good of her family. She never, when she vows to God that she will never be hungry again,
or
she
her,
says,
or her family,
all my folks, which includes her servants, actually, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. Because they're family. She grew up with them.
She has.
Even though they're not family, but they are family.
Yeah. I mean, Mammy talks to her with far more parenting skills than her own mother ever did.
Because she would have raised her.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
I love Mammy. She's "You're not supposed to show your bosom till after 3. Because Scarlett wants to wear a dress.
A revealing dress.
Well, it should go over her shoulder, and she brings it down, and Mummy's like, hunch it back up and just going on bringing it down. But it's so interesting because Scarlett, at the end of that scene, Mammy's really angry with her. And she's like, "If I don't wear this dress, I won't eat a bite." And that's why Mammy puts the dress on. But she then just turns it around on Scarlett and says about Ashley being there. He says, "I don't notice Mr. Ashley want to marry you." And then that's when she kind of throws a tantrum as she's stuffing food into her face, like a child.
I do like about Scarlett that she may be a lady, but she's not. But what I mean is she's not refined.
Yes.
She will stuff her face.
Yeah.
And she will throw things, and she's a spoiled brat, essentially.
But she's a spoiled brat with such strength that they need. Like, I love after the war, because they plant cotton and they pick cotton and everything, and her sisters are complaining. Well, one of her sisters is complaining about her hands and how they're scratched and torn, and she says, "Oh, I hate Tara," and Scarlet slaps her hard across the face. Don't you dare say you hate Tara again.
It's the same as hating Ma and Pa.
Yeah.
And
She'll put her sister in her place.
She will, and I love how they set up this love of Tara. Tara is the love of Scarlet's life.
Yeah,
is Tara.
Tara is her home, where she lives with her family.
You know how at the beginning, she says, "Oh, who cares about Tara?" And her father's like, "This is our land.
Yeah,
you're Irish.
It's the only thing that lasts, and everything with Scarlet, with love and money and all that lot.
Everything
has a limited time scale,
but Tara doesn't. Because at the end, when she goes home, tomorrow is another day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's what sort of always.
I'll win him back somehow.
Yeah, no, I doubt she would have done. But
and I love the fact that Margaret Mitchell. I was looking on the internet search before we did this, and Margaret Mitchell herself never knew if she got him back because she wrote "Gone with the Wind" out of boredom.
Well, is that the only book she ever wrote? Really?
Yeah,
bloody hell! Bloody hell!
She wrote it. It was published in 1936. It won Pulitzer Prize in 1937, and she died in 1949.
Right. Bless her.
Bless her. She wrote 63 chapters of a book because she was bored because her ankle was broken, and her husband was annoyed that he had to keep on bringing library books to her. So he was like, "For God's sake, write your own." It was stacks and stacks of books every day. She broke her ankle.
Right.
It was saying on her phone that no one knew apart from her husband, to the degree that she had visitors one day who came unexpectedly and she had to throw a rug because she had papers all over the living room, throw a rug on them and then just deal with the people and then get them out and get the rug back up and carry on.
Right.
So.
Right. But it's a great story with very real problems.
Yeah.
But it's a great film. It is an adventure.
Yes, it is.
It's a long film.
It's a long film. It's nearly 4 hours. So it's
a long film.
But it's a long book. It's,
it's almost 1,000 pages.
I think it's more than that. This version... 984, this version.
Right.
I'll think of it all tomorrow. At Tara, I can stand in them. And tomorrow, I'll think of some way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day.
Yeah.
That's how it ends.
Yeah. It's a great story.
But
great story.
I remember seeing a programme that it was like, it was something like the BBC did or something. It was like My Favourite Book, My Champion Book or something. And a celebrity each week would talk about a book that... it was when they did like the nation's favourite book thing, and they took a book and talked about it, and I can't remember who for the life of me did Gone with the Wind, but somebody did, and they were saying how she always felt that Scarlet would be made a great like boxer or something.
Yeah,
and it's always described as she's like pulled tight into a corset and you can feel like it's gonna pop, but she will be damned if she lets that thing pop.
Yeah.
She
it's so funny having had 2 kids after she gives birth to Bonnie, and she's like, her waist is 20 inches.
And she's like, "Oh, Mammy, you've got to get me back to 18 and a half again." Like,
and
she says, "Miss Millie, you don't have baby. You ain't going to be no 18 and a half inches again."
No, you're never going to be 18 and a half inches again.
I love the way that Mammy talks to her. She's like, "Oh, Christ's sake, girl."
She's just real.
And I love how Mammy talks in the house. We were saying that to, her master and mistress and that, she's very... used to say, "Mr. Gerald, Mr. Harris," kind of thing.
Miss Ellen,
get off that floor, boy!
Yeah.
Getting really angry. And
Yeah.
go out and get Miss Ellen's
Yeah.
medicine back.
She's kind of in
Yeah.
charge of the household.
She is.
I think she's in charge of all the other servants in
Yeah,
the
I
household.
think she is too.
But I love Hattie McDaniel's performance.
Yeah,
in it.
she's so present and prominent. I love that she got an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame that because she was black, she was treated.
She wasn't allowed in
The
the
way
front
she
door of
was.
the hotel.
She wasn't. No, she got
She's
given
just-
a table that was out the way. That was out the way of the cameras, so nobody could see her if the camera went past the cast and everything. Because they had set tables,
Yeah.
dinner tables
Yeah.
for each cast
And
at that
Clark
time.
Gable went and sat next to her.
Yeah, he did.
They were really good friends.
They
apparently.
were. Yeah.
Apparently so.
He was
But-
very respectful to women. I think Clark Gable was.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell that in his performance, especially with Rhett and Mammy. You can feel their affection for each other.
Yeah. Because he buys her a red
I
petticoat.
love the bit when she reveals that she's wearing the red petticoat. What's that scrunching under your skirt? Or something she says,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Nothing but your red silk petticoats.
No, it's a lovely relationship. I mean, you're never going to get away from the fact that it is
What
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It was made during segregation, during the horrendous
Depression.
Jim Crow period, the Depression. It has its huge problems, but I do love it. It is literally a problematic fave.
Yeah.
It really is. But yeah, I mean, our childhood was. This is all wrapped up in our childhood.
This is
isn't
our
it?
childhood.
Yeah.
This and various musicals and stuff like that. But Gone with the Wind is just.
It's kind of special.
It is. It's so special. I
Yeah.
can't help but beam when I watch it. Even though you have the bad points and some bits you're like now, but then it was cinema then. It's not cinema now.
It
Can
was,
you imagine if they made it now?
Oh, I don't
Oh.
think it would get made.
No.
Actually, I at the moment, this could not be the worst time
Yeah.
to make a film like Gone with the Wind. If anyone
Yeah.
ever wanted to remake it, I just don't think now is the time to do it, really.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things going on in America at the moment that echo that in a really bad way.
Yes.
I don't think that would be any good. But
But
you
don't
know,
talking about things like slavery and everything like we did earlier, it's very odd now because if you think about it, especially modern TV. Not that I'm saying that there is a good side to it, but if you think about it, the dramas and that and everything that we get about that period is the deepest, darkest elements of slavery. Not that I'm saying that there are good elements of slavery, because there's not.
no.
But you know what I mean? That it's kind of feels like if that was remade now, it would be a lot deeper and darker.
Well, yes, because
and sinister.
because Gone with the Wind catered to the white Southern
Yeah,
outlook.
yeah,
Because that's why, I came across a post on Tumblr where this person had seen an old plantation and had gone into it and taken pictures of it and wanted to restore it to its former glory. And they think of this. They don't think about
those
12 years a slave.
Those pictures were particularly creepy, I have to say.
They were really I sent them to you,
Yeah.
didn't I? Sent you a link
sent me
to
the
it.
post, yeah.
Because there is a romanticisation of the past, of that southern past.
And like how we were talking about Jane Austen, that
Exactly.
has got such a bloody history.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally
Their
bloody.
the blood of slaves and prostitutes and that built that city.
Yeah, and the blood of slaves built the South.
Yeah,
And it that is it.
yeah,
That is what they romanticise.
yeah,
And you have these people who are tearing down the Confederate statues and they're all up in arms about that. Well, why have statues, schools, streets, monuments named after people whose job it was to oppress others?
Yeah.
And you could say, oh, it's our history, it's our history. yeah, it is your history, but that doesn't mean that you get to glorify it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I am positive that we have this problem too.
Yes.
I'm not saying that we don't.
Yes.
But
it's a different, but I think in our country, the glorifying of such things, it's not necessarily focused on that particular
yeah, I mean, we don't
element.
have...
Do you know what I mean? I'm trying
yeah.
to say, yes, it is there, but it's not like that. I don't know how else best way to say that.
The bridge that Martin Luther King walked over
Yes.
to get to Selma
Yes.
is named after a slave master.
Really? I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
That bridge is named for a man that owned slaves.
Right.
You know, that is a real thing. That you know, that there are statues of Robert Lee, the Confederate leader. And all these things, and it's all been, oh, you can't do that because that's stripping away our history. No, it isn't. It's stripping away a monument of oppression.
Yeah.
It's Colin Kaepernick. It's Colin Kaepernick taking a kneel in front of the flag.
Yeah.
All these things come from this era of their history.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think there's isn't there, I could be wrong about this. I think it's something like at Canterbury University or something here in the UK.
Yeah.
Or one of the colleges like that, where there is actual statue of a prominent man relating to the university who was the slave owner. And there's been a massive debate as to what to do with, not necessarily recently, I'm thinking like the past year or so, about that statue. So we have got
monuments of oppression in our own country. I'm not saying that we don't.
Yeah, but I was just trying to think of one that related to the slave trade, like how we're talking about.
But I think the slave, I mean, God knows we were absolutely guilty in the slave trade. I'm not saying that, but I think because we don't have the literal land mass, we didn't have plantations as such. There were estates, but whether I don't know if slavery itself was on those estates, or slavery here was more in inner cities, in docks, in places like that. I don't know enough about it. I do have a book at home that I need to read, called Black and British by a man called David Olusoga, I think his name is.
I quite like a copy of it.
And I bought the hardback because I love the cover. It's absolutely beautiful. And I do need to read it because it's an important thing that I should know about that side of my country's history.
But we're not taught about that in schools.
But that's no excuse. It's there and we need to learn.
No, I agree. I agree. It's not an excuse. But it is that thing that it should be something that we should be taught when we are young. But unfortunately, our school system doesn't allow. And even like certain books, like for example, we were saying, like Laura recently read The Handmaid's Tale.
I did, yeah.
And who was it that you spoke to who said they were a teacher?
It's somebody I follow on Twitter, who is a writer herself, and she used to be an English teacher, and she taught The Handmaid's Tale, and it went out of being taught at A-level a couple of years before I did my A-levels.
Right.
And it should absolutely be compulsive reading.
Yeah.
So compulsive? No, that's not the word I mean. That's not the word I mean. But it should be a book that should be read by young women and young men.
Yeah.
And I think that compulsory. That was the word I was after, not compulsive. But it should be, because it talks about what happens when you force women to have children. And it's terrifying. In fact, it's one of the scariest books I've ever read. I've read it once and I have no desire to ever read it again.
But you've read it.
But I've read it. And it really made an impact on me.
It's in my job, so when I read it,
it well, I fell into a horrific kind of depression afterwards. I
Which
really
made you
did.
turn to chiclet, didn't you? You had to have something lots of light and fluffy to help get
I
you
read the
past
worst book I've ever read afterwards. But to be honest with you, I didn't care. I was just so grateful not to be in Gilead anymore. It was horrific. But yeah, what I'm saying is that the movies don't help with romanticizing the past.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Gone with the Wind is not real, but
Yes.
there are real things in it, like the Civil War, like slavery, like all that stuff which we need to know about and need to know about it in reality, not
Yes.
through the lens of fiction. And
Yes.
that's the problem.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
I mean, yeah, it's got big faults.
huge faults, like Grand
Canyon.
Canyon-sized faults.
Not quite having holes as big as the Grand Canyon like we thought with Sherlock, but having faults that are
Yeah,
pretty
the
big.
difference between Gone with the Wind and Sherlock is Gone with the Wind makes sense.
True.
Gone with the Wind makes sense.
Very
But
true.
I do
But it's got one of the most amazing cinematography.
soundtrack,
The most
iconic
amazing
soundtrack.
iconic soundtrack ever. Stunning cinematography, costume, set design,
everything
cast.
on point.
The most amazing Hattie McDaniel. It was just. It's on point,
It's
but it
really
has its flaws.
it's really funny at times.
It is.
Really sad at times.
Yes.
It's got a lot of
It's got joy, sorrow, despair, murder,
Yeah. lots
betrayal.
of murder.
scandal.
Yeah.
People go, You love that moment, don't you? That's as much as you know.
Oh gosh.
Oh, she goes, oh! Praise girls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, it's as I said, a problematic
Yeah,
fave.
so do recommend.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful, but at the same time, it doesn't
Yeah.
really depict
Yeah.
truth. But there's no way that you could remake this.
No.
No.
No. There are certain films which should not be touched, and that is one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, so
Gone with the Wind.
that's what we thought, Gone with the Wind. If you want to leave us a comment, then please do. Be really good to know what your thoughts are on this.
Yep.
And yeah, and we'll be back soon with another video.
All right then. Bye.
Bye.